We're gonna go ahead and jump into the main topic of this video, and that is to be changing the downpipes on the RS4. I've already been under the car, and I will say that there is a bit of a surprise under there, and I'm gonna save that for you guys because it's really ridiculous. It's something that the previous owner, or one of the previous owners, did to this car. When you guys see it, you're gonna freaking laugh because it's so ridiculous. So let me show you the downpipes themselves. I have them in the box still. So we go over here and check this out. They're really nice looking. It's from a company called Zenrum Engineering. They're out of Germany. So they are a little bit larger in diameter than the stock system. So I do have some adapters in here. You can see we're stepping down to the factory exhaust. So I do have a little step down here. Then we have a butt connector. This will link us up from this into the stock muffler system. So this is what we'll be installing. Still has high flow cats on it because I am in Maryland, so I need to pass emissions every 2 years. So I wanted to make sure that I got something that's not going to be a pain in the ass, in the future. We also have rear O2 sensors. So these go in after the cats. So they'll go in down here. Those are also a real pain in the ass to get to on this car. I do know that the connectors themselves, or the wiring for them, is up on top of the transmission. So it's a really tight space in there. I've already looked under it and everything, so I know it's gonna be a real pain in the ass. But we'll go ahead and get under there and get to it. So I'm not sure if the exhaust is gonna sound any different with these downpipes. I think they might be a little bit louder because they don't have the pre-cat on there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do a cold start before we do the install, and then we'll do an after at the end of the video so you guys can see if there's any kind of difference. I do have a really nice microphone on here, so you should be able to hear the difference pretty well. All right, so this is a little surprise that I wanted to show you guys. I don't know if you can see up in there, you probably can because I got light on it, but there is a C-clamp holding the downpipe to the end of the manifold. So I obviously did not do this because I would never do something like that, but one of the previous owners used a C-clamp to hold that on, which is absolutely insane to me. Cannot believe they did that. But yeah, so that's one of the surprises underneath of this car. Yeah, so now I guess we'll get in here and start hacking these downpipes off. You can see this is the reason I'm really replacing them, is the flex pipes are starting to come apart. Again, these things are 14, 15 years old, so they definitely need to be replaced. Okay, so I finally got the passenger side downpipe off, and all I can say, that was miserable. Absolutely terrible. So I wound up taking a Sawzall to it, and you can see, just cut this piece off here. The bolts, the top bolt was impossible to get to. So I wound up just Sawzalling that off too. We got the rear O2 sensor out, the one in the pre-cat. The upstream one is kind of a pain to get out. It's just shearing off, so I may end up having to buy just another O2 sensor and put a new one in up front with the new downpipes. So yeah, so that was, took me a couple hours to do that. Miserable. and we still have to do the driver's side. Hopefully that goes a little bit easier than the other side. Okay, so back under the car, and what we're gonna try to do now is we're gonna drill this out over on this side. The other ones look pretty good. We're gonna drill it out to 3/8, which is the size bolts I got here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but when they drilled out that stud that's in there, they put a really small drill bit in. So what we're gonna try to do is drill that out some so that we can get a good sized bolt in there, one that's sturdy and that'll hold this really well. So I do wanna make sure that this 3/8 bolt does not fit in there, so you have to drill these out just a little bit too. Fits in that one pretty good, but this one's gonna have to be drilled out just a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but we'll have to drill that out. I tell you, there's just no room to work on anything under this car. It's ridiculous. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and drill those out, and then we'll be able to bolt up the new downpipes. All right, so we finally got them off. It's now 10:30 at night. I started at 10:30 this morning, so I've been working on this for 12 hours. I had a little bit of help from my friend. He came over here to help me cut these things off. So here you can see, finally got them off. God, it was miserable. So you can see we cut it off at the flange up here. Yeah, it was just so bad. But anyway, we got them off. I need to do some drilling. On the driver side manifolds to get them, bored out to that 3/8 of an inch, so we can get real good bolts in there, real solid bolts. So we'll probably do that tomorrow. And then I did have to order some new O2 sensors. So we got the downstreams, and I went ahead and ordered the upstreams. Might as well do it while I'm in there. They should be here later this week. And then I'll dive back into it and get these new downpipes. These new downpipes, we'll go ahead and get them installed in the car. So yeah, it's been a fun day. Freaking tired as hell, but I guess the hardest part of the job is now done. So we'll pick this up a little bit later. All right, guys, so the O2 sensors finally came in. Took a couple days for them to get here, and now I finally have some time to actually work on this. So you can see, we got the two wideband sensors here, and these basically go up on the upstream piece of the downpipes, which is, up here. And then we have the rear O2 sensors. So these are not wideband, but they go back here in the downpipes. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and get this thing started, and hopefully we can get this done today. I'm tired of working on it. So let's get into it. All right, so you can see we got everything cleaned up. The holes are bored out to a really good size, 3/8 of an inch. So this is on your passenger side. Driver side, a little tighter in here. Might be harder to see, but we got that all drilled out to 3/8, and we're ready to bolt up the downpipes. I do know that with the, I guess the reducers, it is a little bit longer than the stock downpipes were. So we are gonna have to make some cuts on the stock muffler pipes to compensate for that. So we'll go ahead and get started on all that. We finally got the downpipes all buttoned up to the manifold. We got some really good heavy duty bolts in there, torqued down to about 40 Newton meters. Such a pain to get to. I mean, as you can see, it's even hard to get a camera up in here, but we got them tightened down. This is the passenger side. And then, I don't know if you can see this or not, but here is the driver side. We got those tightened down real good too. Again, nice solid bolts. So now all we have to do is put in the upstream O2 sensors. So you can see they're also a little bit difficult to get to, but I think that'll be a little bit easier than getting to the top of those bolts. I don't know if you can see it, this camera. There's just not a lot of room in here. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and get the O2 sensors in. And then all we have to do next is tighten up these connectors back here and put in our rear O2 sensors. And we should be done with this project. Thank God. I just wanted to show you what I had to use to get to those bolts. So in order to get to the top, so there's a nut that I have on the top of that 3/8 bolt. I had to use a crow's foot and a really long extension. This is a 3/8 drive. So I basically stuck that up there, held the top of the bolt, or I should say the nut that's on the back side of the bolt, in place with that. And then I have this wobbly extension, which is a lifesaver because the O2 bung is totally in the way. So then we have that to a 3/8 extension, and this is a 1/2-inch drive torque wrench, so I have an adapter on that, and that basically gave me enough I guess length to get up there and get everything tightened down. So I mean, if you're planning on doing this, make sure you have plenty of extensions. I can tell you that this wobbly adapter is a huge lifesaver, and then so is the crow's foot. So that's what I would recommend if you're planning on doing a downpipe replacement on the RS4. All right, so there you guys have it. The downpipes are now done. There's no check engine light for the O2 sensors, so that's in a really good spot. It also doesn't smell as bad as it did with the cats that were blown out, the OEM cats. So that's it for today. I should say for this week. It's been a great project, kind of a pain in the ass, but I'm glad I did it. Feels good when you do things for yourself like that. So it's done, ready to go, in good shape. So thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.